2025, it's really all about building your personal brands. I think video is one of the best formats to do that and build up your brand. It's you putting the camera there and doing your thing, like doing the thing that you love, right? So if more people find your content relatable, they're going to share it, right? And if they share it, then there'll be more views because they're going to share to your story and their viewers will see the story, and then you will start having that monopoly effect. So if you want to create more growth related content, it has to be relatable.
Hi, I'm Charlene Oy, dietitian turned business and marketing coach, and you're listening to the Nutrition Business Show. I've been a dietitian for over a decade, generated millions online, and we've helped thousands of health professionals. So if you're looking for a smarter way to grow your nutrition practice and create online programs to scale your business more sustainably, then you're in the right place. So let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to the Nutrition Business Show. You're listening to episode 40. Now, I know some of you have got a love-hate relationship with Reels. In fact, I dreaded Reels for a really long time. I looked back at my first Reel the other day and honestly, it was cringe-worthy. Right, I looked so uncomfortable. I felt so uncomfortable filming it. And because I'm not a naturally camera confident person, I'm not super eloquent. So I had my fair share of challenges. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I want you to know that none of us are perfect when we got started. But the thing is, you got to put out the first video, your second video, your third video, to learn from that experience. And the more you put out, the more you learned about it. And I found that once I understood the difference between creating content to understanding why I'm creating the content, that's when my content started thriving. I started feeling more comfortable being in front of the camera because I know that I'm not creating content for myself. I'm creating content for my audience to help them and to serve them. And over the years, Instagram Reels has evolved quite a lot. And so I wanted to bring on an Instagram expert. Her name is Jen. She's an Instagram coach in our programs, The Accelerator and Momentum. And I wanted to bring her on to share with you what's changed over the years, how you can evolve, and what type of content you should be creating to attract, to nurture, and grow your following. So without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Jen. Hello, Jen. Welcome to the Nutrition Business Show. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Charlene, for inviting me. It's been amazing.
Wonderful, Jen. For our listeners who don't know much about you, would you mind sharing a little bit more about what you do?
I have a business called New Gen Social, and I help service-based businesses grow their brand using organic marketing content and video content creation. And what the whole purpose is to just build their Instagram platform into an asset. So whatever content that we're putting in, it should help in your business. So whether it's building your brand, building awareness, nurturing, or getting leads. So that's what I help my clients with. I help with a whole range of businesses, like from the entertainment industry to the beauty industry, and also helping a little bit with nutrition businesses as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that you're from Perth, Jen. I think that's how we connected in the first place. Perth is not very, well, it's big, but it's also not very big in a sense. So it's cool. Yeah, wonderful. And we also have you in our programs in Accelerator and Momentum, supporting our clients with their Instagram content strategy. And what I love about it is you are so niched into content itself and video content. So that's why I got you on today, because a lot of our clients, or even just dietitians and nutritionists in general, shy away from the camera because being on video is not the most comfortable thing for us to do. We like to work behind the scenes. So I want to chat a little bit more about video content today and tap into your expertise. So can you tell us, Why is video content important for service-based businesses?
Now in 2025, people consume content with videos. So it's the primary way. People prefer watching videos scrolling through Instagram or TikTok. You can argue that Instagram, the past couple of years, Instagram has pushed out more video to reward creators to start creating videos. But we can't deny that we all prefer watching videos because you can feel the energy more. You can see the movement. You can hear and listen to things. You can get so much more information out of video compared to static posts. And because of that, I believe that you can connect with people much better using video and you can sell better because you got so much more information that the viewers can grasp compared to a static post. And this is why I think reels or video content is so much more impactful than static posts. I might be biased, but that's my belief.
Yeah, look, I think there is a lot of truth in that. A video tends to capture people's attention longer because you want to watch. Obviously, there is a lot that goes into constructing a video that grabs people's attention, one that converts. But when you do it right, it gets people watching. And I think that you're so right in saying that when we watch a video, we connect with the person more because we get to see you, we get to hear you, and we get to understand and know the person, the personality behind the brand. For a static post, it doesn't bring the same effect. The static post, I think, is still really important, like carousels, but video plays a big role in building your brand as well. And after all, we're all service-based businesses here, so we are our personal brand. So we really want to build on that to draw in the right type of clients.
I so agree. Yes. And yeah, 2025, it's really all about building a personal brands. I think video is one of the best formats to do that and build up your brand because in any business you do, or even if you're a politician or you're selling something, you have a shop somewhere else, like we all need to build a brand. That's what I've been realizing recently to get noticed.
And that's the case even for product-based businesses as well. That's why they get so many influencers on board to showcase how a product is used. And for us being in the service-based business where we offer nutrition coaching, dietitian consultations, people want to know who they're seeing. At the end of the day, they want to know that they can trust you. And that's where that personal branding comes in so key. Now, Jen, from your experience, because you would have worked with a ton of different types of businesses to create video content, what type of reels do you think is working quite well at the moment?
So this is actually a very tricky question because it's so broad, but I want you to have a guess, all right? So it's not 7-second reels and it's not putting a reel with a trending audio. That's not working well. It's not about creating entertaining, funny reels to make everyone laugh. These all can work. However, I believe if we really have to distill into what's really working right now, I really think it's storytelling reels because like back to where we're talking about personal branding, right? Every dietitian may provide the same advice, may provide the same process or outcome, but how do you stand out from there? It's through you. So like it's about trying to connect to the person and about the brand. So through storytelling reels, you're helping your viewers understand you better through storytelling because you can say, oh, I'm the best. I've got 6 years experience. I'm qualified in this degree, but people still can't connect with you. People connect through stories. And that's why I think storytelling reels right now is the only way you can stand out and it's working really well right now.
Yeah, fantastic. I see a lot of content out there about storytelling reels. Perhaps you can break it down for our audience and share some examples of what storytelling reels can look like. Perhaps what type of component goes into it to form a storytelling reel.
Okay, so there are two types of ways you can go about, like main two ways you can go. So the first way is personal storytelling. That could be easier for you. You know, you're sharing your past experiences and what led you to today. Are there any like, we call it 5-second moments? There's a switch. Like before then, what was your old belief before? What was your old me before? And then after that, what happened? And then this is the new me. So that way it is a story. It's not really about describing what happened, but really trying to share the shift of what happened. So that's one example. I think I just did a very mini one yesterday about how going to the Netherlands changed my life. It changed my career. It healed me from mental health struggles. So just small little things like that where people can relate. The second example is a little bit more difficult, and storytelling is actually a whole skill in itself. So I personally am learning storytelling at the moment, and I've got a long way to go. But basically, if you can nail storytelling, you're going to convert so much better. But the second way of storytelling, this is not from me, it's from Sunny. It's called the sandwich method. So Sunny is a brand person and he's a storyteller. He's amazing. So if you want to learn storytelling, go to him. But basically, how you can structure a story is you have a myth and then you share an example of the myth. And then you share the turning point. The turning point is the truth. And then you share the example of the truth. And then you share the conclusion. So it's a sandwich.
It's a very meaty sandwich there we're talking about, lots of layers.
Yeah, this is really effective with like 3 M's, like myths, mistakes, misconceptions. So if you think of any of your clients' myths, mistakes, or misconceptions, you can create a story using that sandwich method. Basically, the example with the analogy, it should relate to something where everyone just gets it. Even non-dietitians would understand.
So what we're looking at, the first example that you gave is talking about kind of the before, where you were at to draw that connection with, in fact, actually where your clients are, potential clients are at the moment. You take them on the journey, you talk about what changed, and then you talk about the after so that they can connect the before and after. And I think that's really powerful because you're connecting with them based on where they're at and you show them what's possible. When it talks about storytelling, like one thing I always get my clients to think about is tapping into the emotions, because people connect into the emotions, they connect with the why, the where you're at, and that's really powerful when it comes to storytelling. And then the second example that you talked about was more talking about using analogies to help them connect with the mistakes or the problems that people typically have so that they can understand. Where you talk about the analogy is making sure that it's simple enough that an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old can understand. So speaking at the level. So we talked about the different components of a high-performing reel. Is there any other components that we need to look at to grab people's attention because they might be scrolling? So you kind of want to stop this scroll there.
Yes, and here too, like Charlene has already said it, but we need to have a really strong hook, not just on the text, but also on the video itself, right? So there are 3 hooks that we kind of want to nail. The first hook is obviously the text, like what you're going to say. The second hook is the visual hook, like the background, environment, what movement you're doing. And the last hook is actually the first sentence of the caption. So basically in the customer journey, right? If you want someone to stop the scroll, they're first going to look at your text and the background together simultaneously. And then if they watch through the reel and they are like, oh, I'm interested and I like it, then the next thing they're going to do is read the caption, the first line of the caption. If the first line of the caption doesn't hook them, then you're going to get scrolled past, right? So those 3 hooks are very important. But let's just focus more on the visual hook. So for visual hooks, there's so many simple things dietitians or nutritionists can do. Very simple. I see like a phone propping inside the fridge and you're just opening the fridge. Things like that. It's just so unexpected, right? You can just pop in front of the screen on your phone and then say hi. It's just like that movement. It just stops you for a little bit to see what's happening, right? Or depending on your personality, you can also have a really nice aesthetic background. So, if you're really into minimalism or you just have a sense of style, you can make your environment really nice and the whole vibe, the feeling, it's like you evoking the vibe through your environment, and that works as well. And that also you can also apply it to the visual hook in itself. So I have a TAPS framework to help you make your reels instantly more engaging in 10 minutes. And it's called TAPS framework, but it's called TTAPS. So there's 2 T's in it. So TTAPS. So the first one is transitions, right? Basically, you can engage your audience in the first 3 seconds through a transition. It can be as simple as a clap. So, when I say a sentence and I clap, The next clip will be also me clapping, but in a different background. That will instantly hook the audience, right? So can play around very simple transitions. Doesn't have to be complicated, like all the editing effects. You don't have to do that. The second T, which is there's two T's, is tags. So tags actually on Reels are actually trending at the moment. So they're playing around with different text varieties, like how the different fonts go well together, and they just make it look so good. Even the captions, like it's not just like one sentence caption like that. To be honest, if you are editing it on Reels, just keep it simple. Please just add captions. If you have a video editor or anyone more advanced, playing with text styles, like with the visual hook, making it look really pretty, will also grab their attention.
So we're talking about emphasizing keywords at the start with those visual effects.
Exactly, yeah. Also, if you use CapCut, CapCut's a free editing tool that you can use. There's different animations that you can use for captions, the words that highlight one by one as you talk. You can do that as well. So that just the movement of the captions do engage with the audience. So that's what you want to try to incorporate as well.
Yeah, we love CapCut, and that's such an easy tool that anyone can use for the editing. And the thing is, it's free. You can pay for more advanced features, but the free version is more than enough for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. I love it. And also, back to the transitions part, you don't have to create a transition. There's transition stuff that you can add on CapCut. There's so many transitions you can do, like a slight left is one of my favorite, or zoom in. And then you can use these transitions as part of it as well. So it just, a pattern interrupts it. The third letter is A. So A is angles, right? So the whole point of having a visual hook or having a really hooky thing is to stop the scroll. But the main idea behind it is to pattern interrupt your audience. How can you pattern interrupt them? So with angles, you can put your camera like on a bird's eye view, and just looking above that is just a different angle than a face front camera angle, right? So it's just so different, and people will be stopping on their tracks and say, why are you looking up and why can I see the floor? Do you know what I mean? Or another example could be like just the opposite way, where you put a camera on the floor and you're looking down. It's a whole different angle, and it just stops people on the track saying, why is this that? Or even putting a phone in the fridge and opening it up, right? That's a whole different angle as well, because it's a whole different environment. And one tip, very easy tip for angles, is that on your phone, I'm talking about iPhone at the moment because I've got an iPhone. So if you go on your camera and you look at your back lens, there is a 0.5 exposure. So if you click 0.5, you can see it's a wide angle lens, right? So that way you can see more of the environment. And one thing you can do is you put 0.5, you record it, and then you put 0.5, you record it, and then you can press 1, so it zooms in like that. So just small things like that. You're combining transitions because it's a zoom in, plus the angle is a bit like more like a bird's eye view. So that's just something easy that you can incorporate for your dietitian business. You can walk with a 0.5 angle and you turn around like that. So just something simple you can do.
Awesome. Yeah, simple is key because we haven't got a lot of time to do fancy transitions. So we want to keep it simple. So the key tips, just to summarize what Jen said, is making sure that you have some sort of transition at the start to pattern interrupt so people are not constantly seeing the same thing at the start of the reel. It's something different. So trying different angles, and the text that you have on the video is so key as well. Majority of people are still watching their video, whether it's stories or reels, on mute. Maybe sometimes they'll have the audio on, but they could be out doing something. So you want to make sure that you've got some form of text on there to draw them in. And just to piggyback on your tip about the text, is to call out a problem that your ideal clients face or who your ideal client is. So for example, you could talk about meal prep, but meal prep for who? For busy parents, for busy professionals. So you want to have that either in the title of your video or on text, like when it pops up the first few seconds. I find that's really powerful because it draws in the right type of clientele.
Exactly. And sometimes drawing in the right clientele is so much more important than the views. Do you know what I mean? And so the P is props, right? So a video, it's so much more engaging when you have a prop with you. So it could be a mic or a lip balm, because when someone views your reel, they're not just going to see you, but they're going to look at the object as well. So then the retention is a little bit longer. So what you want to do is incorporate props. I like to tell a lot of the dietitian reels to show, don't tell. So show what you're trying to explain. If you want to go to the toilet, you can just film yourself going to the toilet or sitting on a toilet bowl. That's part of a prop, the toilet bowl, right? So just small things like that, it's going to help your reels be so much more engaging. And lastly is setting. So setting is your environment. How do you make your environment encapsulate the vibe that you're trying to show? Shani's background is always so amazing. She has books. It's just so well curated. If you want to make a simple setting, what I would do is just have a chair, have a plant behind you, and maybe have a painting, not like me, I'm such a bad example, but have a painting behind, like a frame behind. Or you can go outdoors. So if you are more an outdoorsy person, you can go in the park, and that really just show who you are as a person. Your environment tells you so much more information about you as well. I like to go to cafes and eat, so I would film myself in a cafe. So this is just small, simple things you can do to instantly make your reels so much more engaging.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that example of the TAPS framework. Now, one of the things that we talked about is getting the right type of followers to your page, because we want to create content that converts as well, not just to get us more saves and or likes, because at the end of the day, you're running a business, so you do want your content to convert. So can you tell us a little bit more about how do you create content to attract the right clients?
I love that question. So in terms of like reels to attract clients and convert them, you got to think reels, right? Like reels is just video content, right? And there's a funnel, like with any content strategy you do, there's a funnel. So there's a top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, right? So the top of the funnel is like more like awareness based content, and the bottom of the funnel is more like conversion content. And it all can be done through videos. In terms of the bottom of the funnel, what kind of reels that work is really more like case studies. And you can also do a lot more like lead generating kind of reels. So that's what Charlene is actually in her course. She talks about that as well. And
Yep.
she is an expert in that, really. So what you want to do, you create a really valuable resource, and it has to be something that your viewers or your target audience want. A really good example is if you search up Marie Went, she is the queen of converting reels. So what she did, right? You can print out your whole resource. Maybe it's that thick. You can throw the paper away. Say, oh my gosh, I just created this. And then you show a little bit of preview of what the recipes are. Let's just say if it's like a 30 weight loss recipes, or you can cook them and show the recipes. And then you can just say, get the full recipe in the link in bio, something like that. So just small things like that. Those are really converting reels, and you use ManyChat to integrate them. So that's what I would suggest, trying to get them in your email list or trying to convert them. So that's a really good way to go about. And also not forgetting the hook, like what Charlene mentioned, really be very specific of who you're targeting. And then in terms of more growth related reels, so we did talk about storytelling. The key metric is engagement, right? So if there's more people engaging, if the algorithm shows that there are people engaging with your content, then it will bring in more views. Okay. So what you want to do is that you can do storytelling, just share something more personal. If you just really need that engagement boost, do that. Or you can also go with the more inspo and entertaining kind of reels, entertainment where it's very relatable. The key metric for top of the funnel reels is the shares. So if more people find your content relatable, they're going to share it, right? And if they share it, then there'll be more views because they're going to share to your story, and their viewers will see the story, and then you will start having that monopoly effect. So if you want to create more like growth related content, it has to be relatable. So you get the shares. Shares is the key metric.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Now, a big question which we talked about earlier is trending audio. So I think when Reels first came out, audios are key in a sense, picking the right audio that goes with your messaging. that can help in terms of gaining momentum, getting more views in. But I have noticed that trending audios isn't the only factor that contributes to the success of a reel these days. There's more that goes into it. So can you tell us what else you need besides a trending audio to help your reel pop off?
That's such a great question as well. So yes, as Charlene mentioned, trending audios just don't work as well as anymore. Same as hashtags, it used to be the key thing to do. But now what's more important is really using the audio that matches with the vibe of your video. It doesn't matter about the trending. It's like as long as it matches and everything's cohesive, then that will work. Like what we mentioned before as well, it's really about the personal brand side of things. So your ability to really communicate and show your personality out to your viewers, I think it contributes to the success of your reel. Like really knowing about what makes you stand out, really knowing who you are, and really trying to communicate that really effectively. And if you know how to do that in a very simple way, then I think that will contribute to the success, because I wish I could tell you a tactic that could contribute to the success of the reel, but it's really a lot about the personality, and it's so hard to really try to tell you the step-by-step framework. For example, like she might have ADD, and people with ADD, they might have a bit more intense cravings. And as a nutritionist, she might be struggling with that herself. And having that as a relatability point and just showing like how she copes with it actually connects with people so much more, and even may attract more ADD people to her as well. But she's attracting her clientele through her personality. And so one thing you want to do is really try to find a really good personality trait that you think that people like, and really try to communicate that. But the second most important thing is actually finding out your weaknesses and see how you can really accept that and turn that into content. Because when you're actually vulnerable and you in a healthy relationship with that vulnerability and you accept it and you put out that content there, it actually does so much better than you would expect.
Yeah, yeah. And this brings me to an example where oftentimes I have dietitians, nutritionists coming to me to say that, hey, I'm going through this. And that makes me even more passionate about helping people with that. So I'll use fertility as an example. They are fertility experts. They've helped lots of clients in their area, and they are going through fertility struggles or challenges themselves. And just because we're dietitians, we're not God. It doesn't make us immune to these things. And so they struggle with those as well. And being open to share some of those challenges, whatever you're willing to share, we don't have to share everything. That builds that relationship with your audience. They see you as someone relatable. They feel like they can connect with you. And you don't need to have gone to the other side of the struggle to say, I'm qualified to help you. We've done years of study. And it's a little bit like obstetricians. I've got fertility pregnancy dietitians that I work with, and I often give them the example of obstetricians who are males. They have never given birth themselves, but it doesn't disqualify them from helping other people. It's how women who are going to them, couples going to them, view them going, oh, he's relatable. He's friendly, he's approachable, he listens to my wishes in terms of my birthing plans. And that's what draws us to them, not just because they've gone through it and given birth themselves. So hopefully that example helps our listeners to see that wherever you're at, that season and stage of life you're at, use it to help other people who are also going through the same things. And I often think that God puts us in different challenges, different stages, to help us help other people using the skill set that we have to help them carry them through. Yeah, that can be incredibly powerful as well. So don't feel like you're not qualified or you're not good enough to share that just because you're going through it yourself.
I love that so much. And you know what? If you're able to do something like turning your weaknesses into relatability content, I think it would contribute to your success of your reels.
Yeah, just because we're dietitians or doctors or health professionals, we don't have to be that prim and proper professional all the time. We just have to know where the scope is and be willing to share as much as you're willing to share. You don't have to share everything that you're going through. And that's what people would really appreciate and relate to. And there are so many times, and Jen, you probably hear this with clients that you work with that comes to you going, or I decided to reach out to you because I feel like you're someone who understands. You have so and so whatsoever problem and you understand what it's like. So that's what drew me to you. Have you heard things like that from your clients before?
Yes. Or like, you provide a safe space for me to film because a lot of people feel it's so daunting to be in front of camera. So it's just something like that. Learning how to communicate that aspect to the content that can also help you convert so well. So yeah.
That's your point of difference, right? That they can
Yeah.
feel safe. They don't feel judged or pressured to do
Yeah.
things that they may not necessarily want to do. Awesome. Now, I want to quickly chat about equipment, all right? Because oftentimes, again, we look at professional content creators, they've got fancy equipment, but honestly, I don't have my phone here with me, but you can just use your iPhone or your Android phone. The camera quality these days are really good. So, would you agree that's sufficient, or is there any other equipment that you would recommend?
I totally agree. Honestly, I bought a Osmos Creator 3 combo, the 4K. I don't know, it's like a small
I've got
little.
that too. It's very cute.
It's so cute. I love that too. But to be honest, if I was filming like a talking to head reel, I actually prefer my phone because I tried on both because on that you can't adjust the aperture, just a technical term. I'm honestly you're just using iPhone 15 Pro. I can't say for the models below that, but for 15 Pro and above, it works really well. I would also invest something with your audio. So, if I was talking on the camera, there will be echoes. And I would invest in a really good mic. So if you want a budget-friendly option, you can go to Amazon and get a lapel mic for $30. But if you're really invested in content creation, I would suggest getting a DJI mic too. Those are a little bit more pricey, but they are so worth it. They're really worth it. And it really improves the quality of your audio. It really, like when you improve the quality of your reels, you're seen more of it as an expert, as an authority. So just having really clear audio really helps as well. And lastly, you just need a phone stand. I personally do not like ring lights. They are very helpful in terms of bringing in the light. However, because I travel a lot, I don't really like the ring lights. It's very bulky. I do like just having a stand with no ring light. I can buy external lights after if I want to or get natural light. They're the best source of light still. However, like with a stand, it's just much more versatile. I can pull it up. I can adjust the angles I want. So that one, you can also get it on Amazon. So I got one, I buy mine from overseas because I can't find that online. However, this one's really good because it can be a gimbal, you can stand, and you can adjust and put your phone anywhere as well. A very simple one, and it's just about $40. But yeah, if you want a budget-friendly option, for stand, mic if you want to, and phone with natural light.
Natural daylight is the best. I find that sometimes with artificial lighting, it's too yellow or too glaring in a sense, unless you get one where you can adjust all the finer settings. But yeah, daylight is still the best if you can.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it sounds like it's very simple setup. We just need a phone tripod stand to hold the phone and then having your iPhone camera. I've got an iPhone 14. I've got 14 and 15. They are both fairly similar. 15 does better when it's darker nighttime, but 14 is more than enough. And then just using a good microphone, I do use an AirPod. It's not the best, but it does okay. Otherwise, if you're not in an echoey environment, just speaking directly to your phone is fine as well. Now, I wanted to quickly wrap up with this question, Jen. We know that confidence in front of the camera tends to be a big stop hole, a barrier for a lot of people showing up because we feel uncomfortable, may not know what to say, we might freeze in front of the camera. So can you share with us a couple of tips for our dietitians and nutritionists who are camera shy, what they can do to set themselves up to have a successful reel?
So I have 3 tips. The first tip is if you're recording it alone, putting your camera, for some reason, having a camera facing you is so daunting and we don't know why. Maybe it's a new situation, you might feel very uncomfortable. What I would suggest is really just propping the camera somewhere, like further away, and do your day-to-day tasks. So it could be having a morning coffee. It could be having a consultation if your client allows, just having a time lapse video clip of you having a consultation with your client and just you maybe cleaning the house, right? So what you want to do is just film yourself, but not directly on the camera, like you talking or like you doing some actions. It's you putting the camera there and doing your thing, like doing the thing that you love, right?
So we're talking about B-rolls.
Yes. And that could also be used for content, right? So anything that you love doing that you're in the zone of, maybe it could even be coloring or just winding down, journaling, just prop it there. The second thing is that if you don't like any of the clips, that's fine because that's practice, right? So you got to practice. So keep on doing that, just propping the camera somewhere, seeing like whether the angle works. It's not about being in a rush, right? When you're in a rush, and you don't know what you're doing or you're not clear, the quality it doesn't look as good. So what you want to do in your spare time, just put the camera somewhere and record yourself and find the angle and then look back at it. And then you have to look back and watch it to get comfortable with yourself. So once you do that, and slowly you'll start building up that confidence and that normality that you are on the video and it's actually okay.
That's a really good point, Jen, because I like to often tell our clients who are struggling with confidence issue, because when we look at the video, we just nitpick every single thing that's wrong about us. Our hair's not in the right place. We're not speaking eloquently. But at the end of the day, you have to go back to why you're creating content and who you're creating content for, because we want to make it about the people that we're creating content for, our audience. It's not about us. They're not going to care if your hair is in your face. They're not going to care if you didn't speak super eloquently. They know that we're humans after all. As long as your content is valuable and relevant to them, that's all that matters. So one mindset shift that we can make here is making our content about our audience and remembering who we're showing up for. And that can make an immense shift in the way that we show up.
I totally agree. It's actually a big mindset thing more than showing up the camera, because the camera is so not dangerous at all. It's just a phone. So it really is all in your head. I love that. And also the last thing is that if you really can't get over that, it's very overwhelming for you. I really suggest just trying to get a friend or like a BTS content creator to come over and film you. Get someone to maybe even direct you on what to do. So maybe you have an idea on what to do for next time. And you also have lots of footage for yourselves. And it also gets it done, right? If you hire someone for 1 hour, you get all these content done, it's so much more worth it. So that's like an external tip as well if you need some content for your business. And it's also very efficient because you don't have to film yourself every single day.
I did get an idea from someone about just hiring a studio. So if your house is not aesthetically pleasing, you haven't got a big space, there are studios out there that you can hire that's more like lifestyle type studios. And I found one the other day, it was about $80 an hour. So you can rent it for an hour, get makeup on, get some clothing, different clothing that you can change into and just film content there. So you've got a beautiful environment that's aligned with your vibe, and you can do that once a quarter or something like that. Not all content has to be beautiful. And yeah, there's so many different strategies that you can put in place to set yourself up for a good reel. So thank you for sharing that, Jen. And I so appreciate you being here with us today. Now, if our listeners want to connect with you more and learn more about what you do, where can they go?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's called New Gen Social. So NEWGENSOCIAL. And you can also check out my website, but my main form of contact is on Instagram. So give me a follow or DM me, and I'm so happy to connect with you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much once again. And for our listeners for tuning in this week, I hope that the strategies that Jen and I talked about will help you to give you that confidence to know that, yes, you can do this. We all don't start learning how to do content from day one. It becomes a hat that we have to wear as business owners. So this is just one of the things, a new skill that you have to learn to become a business owner. So I hope that you find it helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with Jen or myself on Instagram. Yeah, until next week, I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.